Hello, everyone, and you're very welcome to another episode on Narcon in relation to narcissistic abuse recovery. Today, we're going to deal with the narcissist discard, and we're going to get into the truth about what it's all about so that we can actually fight back in recovery and not spend the months that a lot of us do spend in extreme distress. That's the best way I can describe it. The survival mode, the trying to get out of bed each day, and the immense emotional upset that takes time out of our lives and is very hard to rewire our brains after it actually happens. So I think the facts about what the discard really is will at least assist in recovery to the extent that your brain can have a bit of ease from some of the rumination. And that should lead to a faster emotional recovery so that you can get on the road to actually go and thrive after this psychological mangling, is the only way I can describe it, of a person's emotions, their psychological welfare, and their whole view on life, morality, and spirituality. So for anyone going through it now, you have our deepest sympathy. The main thing you need to hold on to is that you will recover. It is recoverable. You will regain your spirit and you will regain your mojo for life. Stick with it. I promise you will be okay. Okay, so the 10 facts about the narcissist discard that we need to know in order to fight back and recover are going to be divided into two parts. The first part are the 10 facts, and part 2 is going to be what you can actually do to help yourself recover from this awful throwing away of a human being is again the best way I can describe it. So the first point I'm going to get into about this discard and what it's all about is we need to understand that someone that with the narcissistic personality disorder has never emotionally developed themselves. They're emotionally immature. They emotionally stick around the age of 4 to 7, I would say, at best. So people often find that, and I know I did, hard to understand, like, what does that actually mean? Because the person acts like an adult, a sophisticated adult, has intellectual conversations, albeit their opinion is very biased, but they appear to function in adult jobs and careers, etc. So when we say emotionally immature, what does that mean? It means that their emotional regularity and their emotions that they feel about people and things that happen to them, the drivers behind that come from what a 4 or 5-year-old, how a 4 or 5-year-old would actually react to something that happens to them, an emotional reaction of a 4 or 5-year-old delivered with the words of an adult. So when a narcissist discards you, it's literally, here's the analogy. You told me you'd give me your sweets anytime I asked for them, because I said I'd give you mine and then I stopped giving you mine, but I expected you to still give me yours. Now, every time I ask you for your sweets, there's always a problem. You want the sweets all for yourself. You're not my friend. I don't like you anymore. And I'm going to find sweets from someone else because you're a bad person. Go away. So for anyone new to the channel, you might be switching me off saying there's a crazy daisy out there. But I'm just trying to say that that is the narcissist's emotional behavior driver. That's what they're saying in adult terms, in sophisticated terms. I don't like you anymore, so you can just go away. It's literally an adult tantrum. Number 2, we tend, because we were in the relationship, and this applies not just to the intimate relationship, it can be a familial, workplace, friendship, whatever, with a narcissist, someone who has narcissistic personality disorder. The experience we had was a relationship, because that's what we thought we were in, and we were functioning in the coupledom or the friendship as having a human relationship. That wasn't the way with the narcissist. So when a narcissist just ghosts you or tells you all of a sudden that you're just a horrible person and they don't want anything else to do with you, and that in itself is crazy when they purported to love you. But that's an aside. With the narcissist, it was a contract, not a relationship. It was a relationship that was coined or was disguised. The word relationship was put in place of the word contract. It was a transaction between two human beings. Very confusing, because what they did was they used the relationship, in inverted commas, to invest in you. They chose you, they invested in you, they became your partner in the contract, in the relationship. And they decided the terms of the contract for you, that you were to put out services, you were to supply them with this, that, whatever they wanted. And they weren't going to have to do anything to get that other than having signed the contract with you. So when it comes to an end, for the very many other reasons I have down here, the narcissist walks away because it's literally a business contract they invested in. Whereas their partner or their friend or their family member is left devastated because the investment for the person supply they choose was emotional investment, not transactional investment. Understanding this, while it doesn't make it right in your mind and it's hard to grasp, may help you realize that that's what the narcissist does with everybody. So they're not going on to anything better to, give the emotional investment that you thought they were giving to you to somebody else. I see my friend there in the background is bored with the podcast already, Remy. So sorry, I digress. So nobody is going to get a better slice of the narcissist. Like, they're not going to emotionally invest in anybody else. They will contract with somebody else. They will transact with somebody else. But it's nothing to do with you per se, other than a few of the reasons I have, which are going to follow. For the narcissist, it's always what I can get with the least amount of give and how easily I can get it. And that sums up how a narcissist goes about living their lives. It is literally that simple and that awful. Number 3, true facts about the discard. It's not because you're a bad person that the narcissist is leaving you, or has discarded you, or has cheated on you, or has just wanted to end the contract relationship. In fact, it's not because you're a bad person at all. It's actually because you're a really good person. But you just, and I have more reasons down here, you just became too hard to control. So, for instance, if you want to put it in terms of business again, you were the narcissist supplier, but every time the narcissist needed supply, or some of the time the narcissist needed supply, they had to fill in forms. They had to be there at a certain time. They had to answer questions. It was no longer you just turning up every week, dropping off, turning up, more and more supply. If they asked for more, you'd put more on the truck and there'd be no problem. You started to become too hard to control. That's a main reason a narcissist will discard. 4, you're holding the narcissist accountable to be who they said they were at the beginning of the relationship. So you're seeing this person that posed as, say, a kind, authentic, even financially sound, good parent, whatever they posed as, whatever attachments they had to the mask on their computer. You're beginning to see that their actions don't match the person who they wired into your brain initially as being. And you're asking questions. You're holding them accountable to be that person. Well, that's never going to happen, and that's never going to work. You actually holding them accountable is taking a hammer and chisel to the mask and saying, I want to know what's behind this mask, even if you do it in the nicest possible way. Even if you inquire to their friends about the truth about something or whatever. That's not allowed, because anybody with any type of questions, holding them accountable, any type of implied criticism is going to get it in the you-know-what. They're going to get one big kick and out you go. You do not dare question the superiority, the omnipotence, or the perfection of the mask, because that's the narcissist's protection against everything. Protection, defense, attack. It's their power. And the narcissist is only and always about their power. So you may have started, as any human being would after the honeymoon phase, to look for accountability, to ask them why they're not doing it this way, or why are they doing such awful things that way, or why aren't they telling you the truth. These are all the reasons that narcissists discard a person. And these are all good human qualities that a person would have. So the narcissist will discard you for being a good, normal human being. So I really would like to get this across, because people are suffering with such low self-esteem, belief the narcissist love them, but they're unlovable. This is all cobwash, guys. This is a personality disordered individual who's incapable of love. It's really important to get that into our heads when we are suffering a narcissistic discard. Number 5. It's actually often not a final discard. There's often a series of mini discards before what we term as the final discard, but I would prefer to say the bigger discard, the more lengthy one, because the narcissist will always come back if they need something from you and if you're willing to accept a hoover. So it's a camouflage for them wanting to take time out from the relationship contract, basically, to either groom a new supply or look around for a new supply or go to a new supply. And one of the expressions that was used on me, and I've heard this said again from other different people, I need space. So you do, mate, need space and I know what you need space for. But the idea was, I need space from you. I need space in my life. I need to explore things. I'm not happy. I don't feel I'm in love anymore with you. Although I do love you. Sorry for the sarcasm, but these kind of things are said in an adult, mature relationship. I need space. Sometimes in genuine relationships, people do need space. But if this I need space comes on the backside of all of the other things that we know about narcissists, the narcissist needing space is in order to do something without you around and interfering. something of a nefarious nature generally. And the needing space is a kind of get out of jail clause, because if it doesn't work out with the new supply, they're not getting to where they want to be as quickly as possible, or they're not getting done what they need to get done without your knowledge or interference. Then at least they have you on the hook to say, well, I had the space, thanks so much for giving it to me, and sure, let's get back together and work on the relationship. I know you get the picture, guys. 6, to punish you for having self-respect and boundaries. So, we may have not had great boundaries in our lives. We may have had a narcissistic parent. We may have learned a modus operandi of kind of disassociating from bad behavior and just accepting that which is less than we should accept. We may not. We may lower our boundaries with compassion for somebody. We may do a lot of that type of thing. When we're with a narcissist, when we start to feel the confidence of being what we think is loved, when we're in a relationship that has given us a kind of a self-respect, albeit it's going to be ripped away from you because it was an illusion provided by what I always call a computer program. However, you benefited from it to get to the extent where you began to feel good about yourself, and then you set some boundaries because your self-respect was on the rise. Once you put the boundaries in, it's a big no-no for the narcissist. So you need to be taught that you don't dare ask for your own needs to be met. So while you're doing something really healthy and respecting yourself and having self-esteem, that is whacked by the narcissist with a punishment. And if the normal punishments like triangulation, trying to make you jealous to put out more with somebody else, or I don't know, spending some time away, or whatever the narcissist's the silent treatment, whatever their general modus operandi that works with you isn't working, they'll bring in the big guns. And the big guns for you putting in boundaries, for you being healthy and doing something for yourself, is going to pull the rug from under you, and they'll discard you. So that you will be groomed, if they decide to have you back, to not ever have the audacity to have self-respect again around the narcissist. So it's literally to punish you for having the audacity of being a healthy human being. 7, holding a mirror up to a narcissist by becoming your better self. This is kind of following on from putting in boundaries. The narcissist knows that you're a really good person. They chose you because you're a really good person. They chose you because you're generous, kind, loving, have a lot of empathy, and will give your time freely to others, for others, even negating time for yourself. They see your better self, they see your popularity, they see you're holding firm to your moral beliefs, they see you being charitable, they see you helping others. And they can't break it out of you. Even with isolation, even with the period where you might have been very just giving of all of your time to the narcissist, life moves on and you stay the same in relation to your morality, and you want to spend time with family, or you want to help somebody who asks for your help. That's holding a mirror up to the narcissist. You were meant to become an extension of them, and you may even have been for a time an extension of them in the in-love stage, where you totally believe in the fantasy that they're creating of a relationship. So when they can't break you, and your individuality and your self-agency remains, even if it's tenuous, that holds a mirror up to them, because you're the opposite of what they actually are inside. So they need to destroy that because they need to believe that their way is right. So if they can't destroy that in person, they're going to dispose of you and discard you to show you how worthless you are and your ways are, and how wonderful they are, because they have the power to cause you pain and to leave you and to throw you away. They're the ones in control, so you're going to learn your lesson. It's always about the narcissist feeling superior, and even a perception of a person holding up a mirror to them just by being themselves is enough to initiate a discard. Number 8. You were full up of what we call narcissistic supply when the narcissist contracted you into a relationship. But maybe it's been generally, actually, the general time is 12 to 18 months to 2 years for the big discard to come, depending on how bold you are or how good you are. For the narcissist, you would have been full of supply. You may have had a healthy bank account. You may have had a nice house. You may have had a good job. You may have had a great circle of friends that the narcissist could extract additional supply from. You may have been willing to look after the narcissist, to do their laundry. I know you get the picture. But now the time has come when, while perhaps you're still willing to put out for the narcissist, you're no longer physically able, you're financially drained, or you're called to look after a family member that you have to look after. For whatever reason, you're low on narcissistic supply. So it's going to take you time to replenish yourself, and that darn narcissist is not going to stay around and look after you and help you replenish your sources of supply. So they're going to throw you away. Off you go. I'm going to go over here to somebody else who isn't worn out. You go and recover. And when I'm finished with this one, if you've replenished your finances or your energy or whatever, I'll trot back to you, because you will miss me so much that you will welcome me with open arms, and I'll give you a load of codswallop about we'll go to therapy, or I love you so much, I missed you so much that I know I threw you away, but sure, we won't talk about that, and you're not allowed to talk about that. Anyone that's gone for the Hoover, that isn't discussed unless you're really hard to Hoover and they have to. So we're not going to talk about that. That validation of you actually having your say is not going to come into the picture unless they really, really have to get you back. Number 9, so we've 2 more to go. The truth of it is they never loved you. Not what they say, that they no longer love you. They never loved you. A person that loves you does not do what they did to you, and you know your own personal story. A person that loves you does not throw you away like an old coffee cup that they put in the recycling garbage. Because that's as much as they think about you for quite some time. Supposing you were in a different country, a different state, you had a cup of coffee as part of your road trip, you put the coffee cup into the trash as you were getting into your car to continue your journey. Do you think about that coffee cup and what happened to it? Do you think, oh my goodness, I wonder, is that coffee cup gone into the waste now? And, is it getting bashed or, No. No. Not until they have to. Not until they have to. That's generally why they like to know where the coffee cup is, so they can check up on it. But it's thrashed nonetheless and not thought about for quite some time until they actually need to get a high from you. I'm sorry if this is hard to hear. This is the truth. having been through it, having listened to countless stories in coaching, and having done a lot of research, I can tell you from my soul, spirit, and gut, I know this is the truth. 10. Would you believe that I think this is an extraordinary reason, if you're thinking from a normal human point of view, makes total sense from somebody who's the narcissistic personality disorder. The big discard is actually a manipulation. It's a strong grooming technique to bring you under better control, so that, as we said before, you get a chance to go away, to replenish your supply, but mostly to learn your lesson. So that if the narcissist deems you worthy enough to ever return to, and we know narcissist cycles can go on from 7 to 10 to 13 times, you're the only one that can stop it. If they deem you worthy enough to hoover, then you will have learned a painful lesson. This is in their minds. It doesn't work like this very often. It may work for a few cycles, but generally people, when they're able to acknowledge the truth and hold a space for the truth, can see through the fact that the narcissist hasn't changed and has gotten worse. But what's meant to happen in the narcissist's mind is that you've been punished enough, you've missed them enough, they've triangulated you with a new supply, then they go back and tell you the new supply wasn't anything like you, and they want you back because you're the best thing since fried bread, until you're not. So they feel that your time is up, you've done the job you were meant to do, or they didn't extract what they meant to extract from you, that you're holding on to those, bank accounts, those house deeds, despite the fact that they've tried to demolish you psychologically, emotionally, physically, and in every other way. You're still gripping on to what's yours. You're not handing the goodies over too easily. They go, well, let's see how you get on here, matey. And they give you the big discard in order to have you hand over the goodies when they deem it a suitable length of time before they come back to you. Part 2, guys, is going to be about successfully fighting back after a narcissist discard. It's important to let these things sink in. They're shocking things. They're things we don't actually want to accept about a person who we were in love with or loved dearly or deeply, or a family member or a dear friend. But you have to look at the actions. Look at the actions all combined in relation to how narcissists operate. Because if we're acting from our emotions, which we do because the narcissist whips up emotions, triggers emotions, and I'm going to do another podcast on that. Narcissists fight in the emotional arena. If you look at the facts and even put yourself in a third person situation and said, if that happened to a friend and my friend told me that story, would I think that they were crazy to go back? So as hard as it is, successfully fighting a narcissist discard is not becoming their narrative of what they want to happen to you and who they want you to be and the result of the discard that they're looking for. This is time to say no. Oh, no. Nobody treats me like that. I'm a beautiful, divine human being that God loves and God is in me. So I have a duty and responsibility to protect this divine being. And if you think you can come along and disrespect that which God made, you have another thing coming. So guys, that's it really. I just felt really compelled to to discuss the discard, because it is such a difficult thing to get over when your mind is a mess. It's still difficult even when, you have the facts, but at least you're going in the right direction, and it might help some of the ruminations about what narcissists do and don't do, and, what our brain wants us to think. Maybe it wasn't so bad, and, the poor chap or the poor gal, they have a lot of problems and all this. It's time now to really look at the facts and look after yourselves, look after ourselves. Okay, and if anybody wants the support of coaching, the email is narcscon@gmail.com, narcscon@gmail.com. Send me an email and I will send you the information in relation to coaching support. That's it for now. Stay warm. We're freezing here. It's gone very cold in Ireland, surprisingly, because it's a mild climate normally. We have we're surrounded by sea, and it's kind of like a little island, and it's generally mild, so we don't usually get the cold weather, but we're getting it now. Thus, we're sheltering in at the fire. Okay, guys, take care of yourselves. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing. We appreciate it very much. Bye for now.